All right. Matt, the Mortgage Guy, live Q&A every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what this is, week 12, week 14, something like that. Maybe it's less than that, but it feels like it's been a while. Every Monday, I'm jumping on here. We're going 2 hours-ish every Monday, just answering questions people have related to mortgage, related to real estate, related to the housing market. I've got all kinds of things that I would love to talk about, which I think would benefit some folks. I've got, the Refi Now program that's live since last Monday. I've got the housing market. Perhaps is it cooling off? I've got our guidelines tightening around mortgage. Is it getting harder to get a mortgage? All this kind of stuff. But really what I do every single Monday is I let people join. I let people ask questions and the conversation goes where it goes. Over these last 10, 12, 14, however many we've done, the conversation has just naturally progressed. People ask questions. People ask follow-up to those questions. Some people want to know, I'm in contract on a new build. When should I lock? Some people want to know, hey, I'm considering doing a home equity line of credit or a cash out refinance. What do you think? Open discussion about that coming from a mortgage broker who does a few hundred deals a year. I like to think that that insight is valuable. And more often than not only do I provide some feedback, but we've got people in the comments who real estate investing experience of their own, mortgage experience of their own, have input from their markets, what they have going on. And so that's literally what we're doing, is just having a big roundtable. There's 40 or 50 of us at a time once we get this thing up and running, that are just talking mortgage and talking real estate, talk the housing market. There's plenty to talk about. There's some wild things going on really in all markets across the U.S. Another good part about the interwebs and being able to talk with dozens of folks all at once is we'll get some perspective from what's going on in Florida. We'll get some perspective from what's going on in Texas. We'll talk to some people up in Illinois, Washington, Utah, all over the globe. Speaking of across the country, Kevin Hawthorne, good to see you, my man. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you sending me the emails you send me. Show me some progress on what you're doing. If you want, in the comments, put up a link to some of those videos you have that showcase your work that you're doing in Florida with public transport, because it's volunteer work, it's noble work. You're helping people get in and around your community, which is cool, man. It's a very noble thing you're doing. My buddy Joe Guressi. I know you enjoyed my little man's YouTube live yesterday. He was so stoked. I said, let's record a quick video, dude, and let's do a YouTube live. And then we got it up and posted the same day. He was stoked. So good to see you here, man. Hope all is well with you. Let me know what you want to talk about, because really, as much as I could just sit here and ramble for 30 minutes and hope that it provides value, I'd love to dig in. And that's kind of like the what I've seen from folks that's more valuable than anything, like at a conference. If you ever see Gary Vee speak, Gary Vee's a master at, like, I can tell you my principles and what I think and give you my insight on the housing market, on mortgage, on what's going to happen with rates and all that stuff. But the real gold in most conversations comes from Q&A, comes from your specific scenario, where I can dig in. And undoubtedly, when I dig into somebody's specific scenario, there's going to be dozens of others that listen to it and get value from it. A lot more so than just general stuff, oh, let's talk about this or let's talk about that. So let me know what's new with you, what you got going on. And I'd be happy to answer some of those specific questions, because I think it's valuable. So yeah, thanks for the shout out. I'll tell my little man, Ethan, that you enjoyed his live. My older son, Ryan, wants to get on there very soon. I had it written down somewhere. We're going to try to do a video a month. We did conversations with a 6th grader with my oldest months ago. You can find that on my channel. And we did, what did we do? We did a loan limits one when the new loan limits came out in 2021 with with my little dude, my second grader. So it was good times. YouTube algorithm didn't push them that hard. So the boys, even though they get a 50-50 split on ad revenue, didn't really get rich off those, but maybe in the future, once I'm, to the likes of Mr. Beast, once I've got my, 50, 60 million subs, then it'll be worthwhile getting on my channel. Arnold, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Let me know if there's anything on your mind, what you're wondering. Let me know what part of the country you guys are in and what's going on where you're at. What I'd love to get a little finger on the pulse or get some information on, and I might wait until we've got some more people joining, is what you're seeing in your markets. Are you seeing things that used to be pending within 3 or 4 days, now sitting on the market for 10, 12, 14 days? I had 3 or 4 conversations today. And I don't know if I wrote down notes, but real estate agent, fellow loan officer, a couple investor clients, all of them kind of saying, hey, Matt, you feel something? You feel something changing? Does it feel like things might be sitting on the market longer? And I'll get into my reasons why. A big hint is that summer, when people start going on vacations, generally is when the market starts to slow as far as action and offers and people buying. And imagine this summer where people have been cooped up in their house for as long as they've been cooped up. They are ready to go on vacation. So you're going to see a lot of people moving and grooving and not really thinking about buying a house. And I think that fall off in mortgage apps and people out house hunting, out buying houses, that paired with an increase in supply, more people listing, is going to create like a speed bump where people are going to be like, oh, shoot, I used to be able to list this at whatever I wanted and get 10 offers. Now I list it a little bit high and it's crickets. What is happening? And so it's going to scare some folks who aren't prepared, who aren't really, paying attention. But luckily for you guys are in here with someone who's paying attention. So I can game you up. For sure, Janice. I appreciate you being here, giving me your time. So I'm happy to jump on a couple hours a week. Somebody asked me recently if this was worthwhile for me as a busy mortgage broker. And as long as I'm finding joy in helping folks out, I'm going to be here Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, having good conversation and whatnot. So yeah, thank you for being here. All right, Joey, looking for some investment property moves this year. Oh, I think you were telling me about that, right? She's gonna do a first time, 3% or 5% down on a primary. I think we're gonna see some opportunity in the next couple months, Joey. I really feel it. Like I said, a little bit of tick down in demand, a little bit of tick up in supply. It might help open up some opportunities. That's my feeling. That's my hope for a lot of investor clients. Desiree, thanks for joining. Set to close the end of the month. My realtor said he would talk to the lender about stretching out to July. How possible is this? I guess my question would be, what's the reasoning for stretching it to July? Because lock extensions for your loan are common enough, and that's easy enough. So if I have you set to close on June 30th and we have a lock good until June 30th, if we have to extend that lock until July 8th, no big deal. I guess my only question is, what would be the reason? And sometimes when you've got something in contract, the buy side, the sell side, the lender, the title company, everybody's, knows that the more time that goes on, the more opportunity there is for some monkey wrench to get thrown in there. Oh, we didn't realize that, your bonus, you didn't get paid in 2019. We're going to have to cut your income. And now we're having an issue qualifying. Or, we didn't realize that there was, whatever. There's a number of things where it's like the more time you wait, the more there's like opportunity for something silly to come up and derail the deal. So for that reason, sometimes it's like, close this thing as soon as possible. Let's not delay a closing that we could close 2 weeks from now and have it close 3 or 4 weeks from now because of that reason. But I don't know. I guess give me some clarity. Is it like, let's close in July, so then your first payment is not until September 1st? In that case, okay, maybe we close a week late and, more interest is due at close, but then you don't have a first payment until September. I don't know what the reasoning would be, but it's certainly possible if that was your question. Oh, see, yep, I knew it. And this thing, okay, this is a good learning opportunity for not just you, but everybody. That's why I love this format, because I have no idea what's going to come up. A great question gets asked, and then I get to game everybody up, school everybody up. So here's the thing, Desiree. Let's say your mortgage payment is $2,000 a month. And you're like, you know what? I want to close on July 6th instead of June 30th because I want to not have a payment due until September 1st. If you close in June, first payment's August 1st. Close in July, first payment is September 1st. Here's the caveat, is that you close on June 30th. There's like zero interest being collected through close, maybe 1 day of interest. And then when you have your payment on August 1st, the 30 days of July interest is collected then with your August 1st payment. That's how it works. It's like in arrears. Now let's do the other scenario where you close on July 6th. Now through close, you're going to pay 24 days of interest. All of July 6th through the end of July's interest. You're not going to have a payment until September 1st, but an extra $1,400 or something in interest is added to your closing costs. So you're not really like saving that $2,000. You're saving a portion of it because there's not like a principal payment. There's not, truth be told, there's going to be more in reserves collected for escrows and whatnot, but really it's not a full $2,000 that you're saving, I guess is my point, is that you're going to pay more in interest, but have it be out another month, right? So, not a terrible thing. I guess it's not a terrible thing to say, hey, let's close next week, and then I'm just going to have, especially if it's a timed move thing where you've got a lease that doesn't get up until August 1st, and you're like, all right, I want to be able to move my things between the those 24 days or whatever the case may be, right? Yeah, I'm losing it. It's been a long day, but I think that should have answered your question. So hopefully that was helpful. All right. Cape Cod, Massachusetts. They're gone before they hit the market. People think about selling and then they got a buyer. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see if people start taking vacations during the summer, if things cool down, because the data says that mortgage apps are down. People are applying for mortgages at a slower rate than they were a month ago. And so still super competitive. And like I've said a million times before, it doesn't mean that, we come to a screeching halt, but if that's slightly less demand and then you get more supply, we might start to see some things shake up a little bit. By no means am I calling a crash or a slowdown. I'm just saying a little bit of a shift. Boston pre-approved for $475. Cannot find anything to buy. All right. Well, I'm gonna for you, Arnold, I'm gonna talk to the inventory powers that be and tell them to bring you some inventory, because I think it's coming. I think summer is a time where demand wanes, and with that demand waning and more supply coming, by the end of July, you're gonna have more stuff to choose from. That's my hope for you. All right, music lover, you might have missed it when I was talking to Desiree, but here's how it works. When you are buying a house, there's never any bank that lets you slide on interest. You pay interest from the day you close, no matter what. If you close on June 30th, you pay 1 day of interest through close, and then your payment is due August 1st, and you pay all of July's interest on your August 1st payment. If you close on July 6th, you pay July 6th through the end of July, all through close. And then you don't have a payment till September 1st where you pay all of August's interests. So you never save interest. You close a loan, you owe a bank money, they're collecting interest every day. What you do save by closing on July 6th is that your first payment isn't for another month, but you're still paying an extra whatever those 24 days of interest are by closing earlier in the month. And so, the savings, the no $2,000 payment, but paid $1,200 in interest, maybe it's $800. But I guess to answer your question specifically, doesn't matter when you close in the month. The only thing that changes is the amount of interest collected at close. If you close on the 15th, there's 15 days collected. If you close on the 27th, there's 4 days collected, or however many days are left in the month, because then your payment is not due the following month, but the month after, and that payment collects the month of interest in arrears. Hopefully that made sense. I know that's probably something that people get confused on, and something that people are like, oh, I'm going to game the system. I'm going to close on the 30th. When you're not necessarily saving interest by what day you close on your loan, because the day you close is the day they start collecting. Interesting topic. If anybody wants to pick my brain or chat about it, I'm going to talk to Mike Zuber about it in the next couple of days. More and more ineligible findings on loans that I'm submitting through the automated systems. And if that sounds like Japanese to some people, let me explain. When we have a loan package, when we've got your credit pulled, we've got your income inputted, we've got everything in our automated system. In order to get a loan done for you, we need to submit that to Desktop Underwriter or Loan Prospector. It's either Fannie or Freddie, right? And when we do, it comes back with findings, and the findings say approve eligible, meaning we can get a loan done for you. And at the bare minimum, we got to have that. If we don't have that, the lender can't sell it on the secondary market. They will not fund a loan for us, right? And so things change. Fannie and Freddie change that algorithm, change what's getting approved and what's not. And I can tell you, as somebody who is plugging in dozens of deals every single week, dozens of findings every single week, I can notice things more so than somebody who might plug in 2 deals a week. If somebody with a 716 credit score and a 34% front end and a 39% back end is getting a refer or an ineligible finding, meaning not approve eligible, things are getting tighter. I can guarantee you that. And what I will tell you, because some people tell me, oh, things are getting tight, I want to make sure I can qualify, and they've got 200,000 in W-2 income and they've got 800 credit score. You're not going to have to worry, right? If you're that person. But if you're on the cusp, if you're a first-time buyer, if you're putting 3% down, if your debt to income ratio is high because you just don't make that much yet, this is going to be harder for you to get a loan if this tightening continues. And I see it. I feel it. It's coming. So just, I don't know, call it a warning. What's the ideal income to get approved? A lot. Antoinette, thanks for joining. I appreciate you here. So I'll try to answer that honestly. The income is just, part of the equation, right? And you say, what's the ideal income? I don't know if you're talking about the amount or the type. Because if you want to ask type, for sure, it's not even close. W-2 income that's salaried is the best type of income, because we get somebody who's $15,000 per month in June, July, August, September, October. It doesn't take a lot of thinking for the underwriter. They know exactly what to use for income. So that's the ideal type. If you're talking about like the amount, it's going to depend on what you're trying to buy. If you're trying to buy something for $300,000 or $250,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 is probably plenty of income. If you're in California and you're trying to buy something for 1.2 million, you're going to need the income to be, 12, 15,000 or so. So the more the merrier, obviously. But a quick rule of thumb maybe is that you want to have your mortgage payment and all your debts be less than 45% of your income. So for quick math and to make it easy on my brain, let's call the income side 10,000. 45% of that is 4,500. Mortgage payment, student loans, car loans, credit card loans, everything under 45%. And really just the mortgage payment and not any of the other debt, which would be the front end ratio, mortgage payment versus income, probably want that to be 36%. And I say that even though I know some programs might go a little bit higher because one, it's better to be conservative for your own good. So you're not getting in a position where you're overstretched. And two, things are getting tighter. So, you might have got an approve eligible with a 37 over 44 just 2 months ago, just last month. And now this month, no can do. It happens. And unfortunately, you might talk to a lender who just doesn't do enough work up front with your file. I see that so often, I can't even begin to explain it. And right now, as we're seeing the tightening, I'm making sure that more than ever, we have systems in place, processes in place. If you have variable income of any kind, we're getting a verification of employment from your employer. I want to know exactly what you've been paid in 19, 20, and year to date in 21. We're taking that information, plugging it in, and we're running the automated underwriting system to get an approve eligible. Without that approve eligible, you shouldn't be writing offers. You shouldn't be out there submitting offers if a lender isn't 100% certain they can get a loan done for you. Unfortunately, there's still plenty of lenders that are, you make about $8,000 a month. Okay, cool. You're looking at what price range? Okay, 450. And how much do you have put down? 5%. Okay, where's that money? It's in the bank. Oh no, you got a gift coming. Okay, cool. Yeah, what email you want me to send the pre-approval letter to? hopeandaprayer@gmail.com. Okay, cool. Send it right over. I mean, that's it. And I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to where they're like, oh yeah, I had a conversation and I got a pre-approval letter, submit an offer. I'm like, dude, you told him that you made $6,500 a month. That's not what your bottom line says. You're self-employed. Your bottom line says you make $1,800 a month. You got to get a cosign or something. You can't get a loan on your own. And so I might have gone off track there, but don't let that be you, especially in an environment where guidelines are getting more strict, not less strict. More no answers than maybe we saw a month ago. Not to discourage people or turn people away, because if you're qualified, you're qualified. But I did hear this, Joey. They're about to increase the 80% AMI limits this week. And sure, that comes into play for Home Ready and Home Possible. I don't know if we talked about this on a prior thing, but Home Ready and Home Possible, I mean, there's a little bit of a price incentive, and mortgage insurance might be a little bit cheaper, but it's not like such a humongous difference where you're like gunning for it. But I guess you got your heart set, man. You're just all about that Home Ready and Home Possible. So do you, bro? But I just don't. I mean, I wouldn't be like so focused on just that, because good credit and 5% down or whatever the purchase is going to be, you're gonna be getting some good terms regardless. BOJIM. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining. What are the main differences between mortgage refinance and loan modification in regards to getting out of forbearance? You currently have a 2.875, which tells me like there's probably not a need to refinance. Less than 50% LTV. I mean, you could probably find a little bit lower, but depending on how much you owe, let's call it $300,000. you don't want to refinance unless you can lower it by 0.5% for a $300,000 loan. And you won't find a 2.375 that you don't have to pay points for. So my first thought is like, stay in this loan. There's no reason to refinance it. My second thought is, I guess it doesn't hurt to ask about a loan mod. And I've heard of people getting loan mods where they lower their rate. They might tell you to go fly a kite. They might tell you, you've already got a 2.875, bro. What else you want? Yeah. The main difference is if you're offered a loan mod with great terms, you don't pay anything for it. So it's a great deal for anybody who can get a loan modification with great terms. If you aren't offered a loan mod and you're looking into refinance, then you have to do the cost versus benefit analysis, because a refinance costs. If someone tells you refinance doesn't cost, they're one, full of shit, or two, full of shit, because it either costs money or they give you a higher rate, i.e. costs money. And with that higher rate, they get a lender credit to cover the costs. No title companies that are not for profit and just doing it for fun and for the joy of title. No appraisal companies are offering appraisals for free just because they're the United Way of appraisals. No lenders that I know of are offering completely free services just out of the goodness of their heart. They charge as well. These places need to get paid. They either get paid by you and it gets rolled into the loan. And a lot of times that $3,000 is well worth it because you're saving $4,500 a year in interest. You do that deal all day, every day. That's the greatest return you're ever going to get. No stock market, no Dogecoin, no other thing is going to give you a better return than $3,000 baked into your loan, $4,500 in savings every single year, year after year after year after year after year. So good, but don't be talked into or fooled into thinking that, no, we've got no cost loans over here. No, you've got, instead of a 2.75, a 3%. The 3% provides the $3,000 credit, which covers those costs. So now I can pitch to you as no cost, but it's really a cost. But now you're going to pay 0.25% higher. So you're going to pay us $60 a month in a higher mortgage payment versus that $3,000 up front. We didn't get you in the front door, but we're going to get you while you're leaving. Hopefully that made sense. Oh man, that was tiring. Was I rant style right there? I need some green juice now. This video is not sponsored by Green Machine, but this has got I got to start eating more vegetables. That's on my to-do list. And somebody told me, like, if you can't do it, at least, like, this is probably sugar and trash, but at least in my head, like psychologically, I'm thinking that I'm eating more vegetables. Spirulina, alfalfa, broccoli, spinach, barley grass, wheatgrass, ginger, parsley, kale, garlic. That's what it's telling me, at least, if you believe everything you read and hear. Speaking of believing everything you read and hear, tomorrow's video, I blast these mailers that you get online. Forgive my notes. I just use these things for notes. But this mailer sent to my house was talking about the Refi Now program that we all know about because I made videos on it. And it's like, hey, there's this new government program. You can save money. They send it to me, the Gouget household. I can tell you with absolute certainty, I don't qualify for this program. So my video tomorrow is a warning to people. Just because you receive something in the mail doesn't mean you qualify for it. They just want you to call 1-800. Hopefully we can get a loan done and make some money off of you. And they have no vested interest in generally getting you the best deal because it's a call center and it's a national mortgage company that's sending out this garbage isn't generally the best, right? So anyhow, that's a sneak peek into tomorrow's video. Tomorrow at 2:00 Pacific Standard Time. I think I recorded it earlier. All right, Joey. Let's see what you got. How quickly would someone be able to use rental income? Good question, Joey. So you buy a house in March 2021. You've got a lease agreement that says $2,000 a month. You talk to me in June, you want to buy another rental property. The next rental property you buy, I can use 75% of that right away with that lease agreement. It doesn't have to be like a certain amount of time that you've been renting it. It could be you bought it in March and you've got a lease agreement that starts June 1st. We're fine with it. We're just going to use 75% of those net rents. Here's the caveat. Next year, when you go to apply, we're going to want to see 2021's Schedule E. It's Schedule of Real Estate Owned on your taxes. And that number almost always, if you have a CPA that's good, is going to be lower than the $1,500 a month I give you this year, because you're going to have write-offs. You're going to have expenses that you occurred and genuine write-offs, right? But yeah, you can use it right away. Then the next year following, we're going to have to go off what your tax return says. And there's some things you can add back. We've got a calculator to show you exactly what it's going to look like. I wonder if I could pull that up. Schedule E rental calculator. I could even show you for what it's going to look like in years to come. Hopefully I have one that's a blank one, right? It's not got people's info in there. That would not be good if I showed you somebody's rental calc. Schedule E. Schedule E income worksheet. Let's see if I can pull it up. I know that I get people who are new loan officers that watch my stuff, and I appreciate the heck out of you. So this will be helpful for you as well. I've got to get this address out of here. 123 Main Street. All right, let me make sure no more personal in stuff is in here. All right, cool. Share screen. Since you asked, let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, here we go. I know it's hard to see, but on that Schedule E, where you have your rental, you're going to have total rents received. Then you're going to have expenses. Then you're going to have what you paid in like, so it's total rents received minus expenses. But then what you're going to get to add back is add back the insurance, add back the mortgage interest, add back the tax expense. And then this is your rental income. And it's, divided by the number of months it was in service. If you bought it in February and you have it in service for 11 months, then you divide it by 11. And then you've got your monthly rental income right here, right? Then you've got your principal, interest, tax, and insurance. You've either got a plus or a minus. It's either cash flow positive or cash flow negative. And so this is what it's going to look like for calculating on all your real estate owned. And this is if you haven't owned it for a year, right? We're doing the 75% factor. And, you've got your lease agreement. The only caveat to that, Joey, is that they're going to do a rental survey, a 1007, and it's got to kind of jive, right? You can't say $2,000 a month and they do a rental survey and like, oh, things rent for $1,200 in this area. Then you're going to be in trouble. So, yeah, that's it. That's a quick little lesson. And anybody who's like junior loan officer, like, oh, hey, it's a cool worksheet. I want to get that. Like everybody should have something like this, where it's just a rental income worksheet. If you don't, fire me an email, matt@mattthemortgageguy.com. Hope I don't regret that. I got to get my office manager to fire back some responses, anybody who wants this, and then just plug the numbers in. You're going to want to go back a couple years if you got it, and then take an average, just kind of how you average income, you'll average the rental income. This one's only been in service for 11 months. So you only got 11 months. But if it's been in service over the last 2 years, then we're going to show all 24 months of that. So there we go. Quick rental income explainer. No worries. If I didn't mean to come across too like you wasn't listening, but it was funny because we literally had asked or chatted about the whole interest thing right before you jumped on. So thanks for joining us. This is the $1 million question, Janny. And I don't have the for sure answer, but I guess the very least I can give you for taking the time to join me today is my best guess. And here's what I think. I think that we saw double-digit home price appreciation in 2020. So far in 2021, it's been bonkers. It's been even more. I think the second half of 2021, we cool off. And so we pull down the 13, 14% price appreciation to somewhere in the 8 to 10% when we go back and look at 2021 as a whole. And so prices continue to increase. They just don't increase as much as they have over the past 12 to 18 months. And then 2021, we still have supply versus demand imbalance. More stuff gets listed. More people start moving and shaking. And part of the reason why stuff's not being listed is because people don't have anywhere to go to. So the stuff that they're trying to buy isn't available. So they just sit back and wait. As soon as that stuff starts getting listed and the sellers start selling, more sellers will sell. And you're like, what the heck does that mean? It's because me as a buyer, if I'm looking at something in the $1 million range to upgrade to, but there's nothing for sale, I'll sit back and relax and just stay in my $650,000 house. As soon as more stuff starts coming available, okay, now there's 5 or 6 things to choose from. I'll go ahead and list this and buy that. I think that's happening quite a bit. I think that's part of the reason that's suppressing supply. So more, what do they call it? Turnover? There's another word for it where it's generally a lot higher than it is right now. Movement. And so more of that movement starts happening. We're going to see home prices chill out just because supply versus demand. Just because more stuff available in the market means you can't like extract a premium on every single deal. Right now, there's so little to choose from that sellers, builders, and people on that side of the table are able to basically name their price. Not totally, but kind of, right? I mean, it's just, it's bonkers. All right. We got a couple thank yous. Thank you for doing some explaining. If you want to thank me, go ahead and smash the like button. I've been remembering to do this more often lately. Checking the amount of people watching versus the likes. Let me see what we got. Let me see what we got likes wise. If we're under 20, oh man, 9. Look at you guys. Maybe I start the stream with like, comment, subscribe. We're at 10. You guys can do better. I believe in you. Let's get it up to 30 likes. Maybe the YouTube algorithm, once you start liking it, they'll start showing it to more people. Uh-oh. Feedback. Stop that. All right, cool. So we'll check back on that. Somebody give me an update on how many likes we got. Because when I open it on YouTube and I have it going on StreamYard, it makes it all kinds of funky. So you gotta remind folks to like. Or I mean shit, if you dislike it. Maybe you don't like my voice. I just had a psychic vision. All right, Isabella. That's different. I haven't kicked anybody out yet. I haven't had to, but if you make inappropriate comments, you might get the boot. Anybody know how to get bots? Thanks, you Junior. I appreciate you. See, straight away, you came in here and just liked it. How can I help? Let me know. Let me know what part of the country you're in. Let me know what you're up to. Are you on the sidelines? Are you in the action? Are you buying investment properties? Are you just trying to follow the market just because you think real estate is an interesting thing? But oh, Junior. All right, I got you, bro. It's like the blue heart, right? Where it's just like love, but not that kind of love. What is going on in the comments? Psychic visions. All right, Isabella. This is a family-friendly mortgage, real estate, and housing market live stream. So behave yourself. All right. Raghavendra. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the question. This is a good one. If anybody doesn't know what a recast is, this has come up more often than ever over the last like 6 or 12 months. And I've got plenty of lenders that will do a recast. For those of you who don't know what a recast is, if you apply a big principal payment to your mortgage, let's say you owe $300,000 and you get a $50,000 inheritance, or you get money for whatever reason and you want to apply it to your mortgage. So you do a $50,000 principal payment. You can call the mortgage company and say, I'd like to do a recast. And they will basically recast it based on that new principal amount, because otherwise you're paying $2,000 a month. You make a big $50,000 payment, you're still paying $2,000 a month. And that big $50,000 payment is just going to speed up how quick you pay it off. You might pay off in 24 years instead of 30, right? By recasting it, they say, okay, based on the new principal amount of $250, recasting it over what we have left in this mortgage, now your payment's going to be $1,725. These are complete, just random numbers I'm throwing out, so don't quote me. But you're asking me what situation would I recommend it. I'll tell you a really, really common situation I'm running into right now where people are basically planning to recast, and it's like a strategy thing. You've got a home that you plan on selling, and you're also a buyer buying forward. And I'll give a scenario. I talked to somebody yesterday, and they said they want to offer on this house that's $1.1 million. And they don't have 20% down, but this is the house. This is the one they want. They plan on selling the house they're currently in, and they're going to take the proceeds from the house to put down on it, but they've got to offer on this house and close on this house before they sell their last house. So here's a recast scenario. You buy at 1.1, you put down 10%. So now you have a $990,000 mortgage. After you sell your house, and there's things involved here, like you got to qualify for this new house without selling the old house and being able to carry both mortgages. So there's that. But if that's not a factor, what the recast allows you to do, buy first, then sell, then take money from sale, apply it to new mortgage. And let's say in this case, you apply it to that $990,000 mortgage, you throw another $290 at it because you just netted $400 from the house sale. Now you owe $700 on the new mortgage. You recast it, and now it's a comfortable payment, because at the $990,000 mark, it was expensive. And I know I'm using big numbers because I've been talking with, fancy folks in California that have been buying big houses, but my bread and butter is really first-time buyers. That's a lot lower than that. So let's use a different scenario. Let's say that you're moving out of this house you owe $185,000 on, but it's worth $400, and you're buying a house for $550, but you don't have 20% to put down. Your down payment's coming from the sale. It's worth $400 and you owe $185. You're going to net a couple $100,000. So you buy for $550, you put 5% down. Then here's the cool part. You buy for $550, you put 5% down, you close, you're in your new house, then you sell the old one, take the net proceeds and throw an extra 15%. You can not only recast, but have the mortgage insurance removed. I'd done that before. That's pretty cool, because now you have 20% equity. So that's a scenario where I think, to answer your question, that is where that's where it makes sense. Oh, I better be at 10K by this time in 2022. By the end of the year, I hope to be at 10K. Let's see what we can do. You got to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Then we get to 10K subscribers by the end of 2021. All right, Flash of Life. At refi closing, are slow payoff statements common? Oh man, this is this is a common theme, and it depends on who the old lender is. Some of the lenders, like Freedom, is the worst. Big banks, the worst. A lot of lenders, terrible. You're trying to close your refi and we need to pay off. We're waiting on it. Most good lenders should order that payoff well in advance, so where that's not holding things up. And a lot of good lenders know how to push hard and get that payoff statement sooner. If you want to try, you as the consumer can sometimes reach out to your lender. And I know I looked into it when I was doing some personal refis. You could pay like a rush fee. You can call them and be like, hey, I need a payoff in the next 12 hours. How can I get it? And they'll have a rush fee. Or I've called before and said, like, listen, it's so easy to get a payoff. It's literally like a click of a button. So I think I had Freedom or somebody servicing a mortgage of mine, and they might have been the ones dragging their feet. And I was like, listen, I am prepared to stay on hold as long as it takes. I kept trying to go supervisor type deal until finally they faxed it. Like, it's so easy. A payoff is not something that should take 7 days. A payoff you should be able to get in 9 minutes. It's literally like a button. Like, this person, loan number 104623. Click the payoff, good through June 20th, and then fax to you. Like, that's how easy it is. And they either hold it like as gamesmanship because they don't want you to refinance your mortgage and go elsewhere, or I can't think of any good reason why they do that besides that, right? It's terrible. Antoinette, these are the questions. Don't feel bad about being new because you asked this question. There's 20 other people that wanted to ask it or are curious about it, but they just didn't ask. So I appreciate the question. It's very similar buying an investment property. The rules vary slightly. The down payment is generally higher on investment property. The interest rate is generally slightly higher, but similar to buying a primary. When you buy an investment property, it is going to be a debt to income ratio equation. So for quick and easy math, like we did earlier, let's use $10,000 as monthly income. I know in some parts of the country that seems like crazy talk, but some parts of the country that's barely scraping by. On the other side, there's $10,000 in income. On the other side, there's your primary mortgage, where you've got a $2,000 mortgage payment, and you've got $400 in student loans every month, and you've got a $300 car payment. So that's $2,700 so far. Now you want to buy an investment property, and you can buy a single family. You can put 15 or 20% down. Generally, you want to put 25 because the terms are better. But let's say you put 25% down, and the payment on the investment property is going to be another $2,000. Now you've got $2,000 primary, student loans, and car payment. That's what I said this one was. And $2,000 on the investment property purchase. That is $4,700. 47%, you might be out of whack. But here's the good news. On that new property you're buying, the rent is $2,400. We can use 75% of that. This is projected rental income on the subject property, they call it. So we're going to use $1,800 and add it to the $10,000 side. Projected rental income. And that's where, Joey, we use that 1007. It's like the appraisal is the 1004, and the 1007 is the rent survey. The rent survey says in this neighborhood, this should rent for about $2,400. Where's my calculator? I've got 11.8 on the income side. And I've got 4,700 on the expenses side. 4,700 divided by 11,800. I've got a 39.8 back end ratio. Qualified. Voila. So that's how it works. It's your income plus projected rental income on one side. And then on the other side, it's current primary residence, all your debts, plus the new mortgage. And that's got to be under 45-ish to make it work numbers wise. Give or take. So that's how it works. Piece of cake. Yeah, see? This is a good scenario. I'm just going to call you Rags, if you don't mind, because Rag Havendra is a tough one. So I'm going to go Rags. And this is a good idea for your scenario too, because having a cash flow negative rental if you move somewhere is never fun. And I think that it's a good scenario. Just talk to whoever services your loan and ask them about a recast. Some of them require that you make a certain principal payment, 5,000 minimum or something like that to be able to recast. Maybe they'll let you, since you've paid it down by 60,000 over the last 4 years, just automatically do a recast. But that's the only caveat. Usually it's only like $150 charge. And then that $150 charge is all you pay to do the recast. Know that sometimes it takes a couple months, but it's something that certainly in that scenario where you're trying to make it a cash flow positive rental, I think is a good idea. Slow payoff was a transfer to Mr. Cooper, so the loan wasn't on the books until June 7th. Yeah, so that was their excuse, right? Is they didn't have it on the books. I don't know. Still, they have it on the books now. You have a freaking principal balance and you have a daily interest payment. That's all you have. So take the principal balance on June 7th, daily interest per diem, and times it by 14 to June 21st, and give me my June 21st payoff. It's that easy. It's really not difficult. Like, I would show this same level of passion when I'm on the phone with them. And I would just say, listen, Mr. Cooper, am I talking to Mr. Cooper? Get me Mr. Cooper on the phone right now. For anybody who doesn't know, Mr. Cooper is the name of a mortgage company. It used to be Nation Star, and they changed their name to Mr. Cooper to be more, I don't know, like they thought it was like a friendlier, like more personal name to just be called Mr. Cooper. You guys let me know if it works. Let me know if it, a lot of people I talk to are like, that's weird. It's just weird. Rudy, what's up? Thank you for the kind words about the content. 100% commission in insurance sales. Had a dip in income last year, but now making similar. Oh, it's going to be tough, man. It is going to be tough. Because what the lender is going to look at is they're going to look at 19 and 20, and then year to date 21. And depending on how big of a dip that was, right? Let's just for example purposes say you made like your bottom line. I wonder if you're 100% commission but W-2 or 100% commission 1099. It's really the same, so it doesn't really matter. But 1099, you just probably be able to write some stuff off. But let's call it like 100K bottom line in 19, and then you went down to 80K in 20, and now 21, you're like halfway through the year, you made 50, so you're back on track to do 100. I think what the lender is probably going to look at is they're just going to, like, any decrease on variable pay, commission pay, anything like that, they're going to have an issue with. But if it's not, like if it went from 100 to 60, like a 40% decrease, they might just say like, nah, we're good. And you might have to wait until 2021 is done. And then you're showing 2021 where it's increasing, and they can take an average, but you're cool. But yeah, I think here's what you do if I was you is and here's some follow-up information. Looking to buy a primary in Sacramento. Hit up me and my team. Let us take an application and get all your docs and literally submit it as a TBD. Lenders are so busy that they're like charging me to submit TBDs. It's like a partner points system. So it's not like I'm paying cash, but I'm paying like out of incentive points. But let's submit it to an underwriter and see what they say. Cause my feeling is, depending on how big the 19 to 20 decrease is going to be a factor. But yeah, they might just say, okay, it decreased. What they really look at is they'll look at like, okay, we've got a 30-month average, 19, 20 and year-to-date 21. What's that? We've also got just a year-to-date average. What's that? We've got last year. What's that? And they're going to take like the lower of all of it. So maybe they take last year's crappy year and divide that by 12 and say that's what you're going to give you, because we see you've come back. We see you're doing more business, and we've got a letter of explanation saying so, that you're back to full throttle and doing good. But they want to be conservative, especially when it comes to anything commission, anything self-employed. So yeah, let's take a look, man. We'll do all the due diligence up front, which my best advice is, no matter when you're buying and whether you buy or not, let us look at it, scrub it, give you a good solid answer before you're out there submitting offers and getting your feelings hurt. Do all underwriters require disclosing previous tax returns? Here's the thing, if you have W-2 income, and we're not using her income, it's just using your income, and you don't own other properties besides your primary, we're fine just using W-2 income. Here's where this gets tricky, is I try to do that for somebody who owns 3 properties, and underwriting is like, oh yeah, we need to see the Schedule E. We need to see the tax returns because we want to look at the rental income. Then the cat's out of the bag. Your wife's, purse side business that shows a $14,000 loss every year is done got exposed. So yeah, we can definitely do it. And most lenders shouldn't be asking for tax returns unless it's needed. For a self-employed borrower that we're calculating their income, or you own rental property and we need to see the tax returns because of that. Basilio Alcantara, gracias por la pregunta. Yes. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the last couple days, but in the last couple days, you probably have heard of it because I've been talking to Mike Zuber about it. I've been talking to others about it, and things are just getting, and it's not like a humongous thing where all of a sudden 50% of the people that are applying don't qualify. It's nothing like that. It's just like, okay, somebody who was qualifying prior and had a 38% front end and a 45% back end and whatever, now they don't qualify. And so if it's a purchase, maybe they could go up to 375. Now they're only good to 360. Or if it's a refinance, they were going to get 60,000 in cash out and they can only get 30. It's small little hints of tightening. Fun fact, Basilio. Viví en México en el 2003 y 2004. Casi 2 años viví allá. Hablo un poco el español, pero hay que practicar más. Porque antes, en el 2003 y 2004, hablé perfecto el español. Y ya casi no hablo. Okay, enough Spanish practice for the night. Man, it's been 17 years since I lived in Mexico. Time flies when you're having fun doing mortgages. Issues with getting cash out refinancing on investment properties. I don't see issues. The stuff that I'm seeing the tightening on isn't like it's going to go away and you're not going to be able to do a cash out refinance on investment property, but the debt to income ratios are getting tighter, right? And here's where I'm seeing the most tightening, to be completely honest with you guys about what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, is when I have buyers who are 3% down, 5% down, sub 700 credit score. Those factors are, they all, as a cumulative in Fannie and Freddie's algorithm, their automated system, say this one is a little bit risky. Let's not lend too much to somebody who's a first time buyer and only putting 3% down and has a 686 credit score. That's what I'm seeing. Like it, agree with it, whatever you have to say about it. That's just what I'm seeing. I'm just relaying la información. Okay, gracias. So yeah, to answer this question, no. On a investment property, single family, cash out up to 75%. If you qualify, you qualify. You're good. If you're on the cusp, debt to income ratio wise, maybe it gets a little bit strict and you don't get it to approve at the higher debt to income ratio levels. But if you're fine qualifying, then you're good. It's not like this is going to go from max of 75% to now it's only 60%. Some people did that last year. Chase Bank stopped doing investment property loans. Some of these other lenders, really got restrictive on the loan to value they would do for investment property loans. But I don't see any of that really changing. I just see it getting slightly tougher for people with not a lot of skin in the game and not less than perfect credit. All right, Tara, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Doing a bank statement loan, 24 months, and it was going to be conventional. I just found out about IO. Can I change the program? I guess it depends. If it's if the lender that you're working with offers I guess I would ask, like, you just found out about IO. You got to find out not just if IO exists, but if IO, for anyone who's wondering, interest only, if this specific lender has an interest only product. And if they do, are the guidelines similar to what you're doing? Because might be that, like, yeah, we've got an IO product, but it's only for our conforming stuff where it's full doc. We're getting income and assets and all that. It's not just a bank statement loan. The bank statement loan might just only have certain terms available, IO being one of them or not being one of them. So yeah, check into that. I wouldn't know specifically. It depends on who you're working with. Muchísimas gracias. Hay que practicar el español más. Porque algún día voy a regresar a México a visitar mis amigos. Yo tengo amigos por Toluca, por Guadalajara, Oaxaca, el DF, en Querétaro, donde estudié, por todas partes. Si algún día voy a regresar con la familia, hay que practicar el español. Muchísimas gracias, María. Under contract for a new build. Credit report expired. Lender wants to charge and repull credit. Yep. It'll definitely be another hard inquiry. A lot of people have been asking me about credit pulls. People are stressed out that credit pulls are going to really drag down their credit. It doesn't affect you as much as you would think. For every credit pull you have, I gave somebody an example because I'm doing a refinance personally, and I do a lot of stuff. I do mortgages. I do credit lines. I'm just an active dude, right? So I've got 18 credit pulls in the last 12 months. My credit score is still 790. So credit pulls are not hurting. New accounts. Here's the thing. Like, if people were as concerned about debt load as they are about credit pulls, your credit score is going to be a lot better. If you got a $1,000 Home Depot card that's got an $850 balance on it, pay that down to $200. That's going to help your credit score increase by 35 points. And then you won't have to sweat if your credit score goes down by 4 points with another pull. So that's my best advice. You don't have a choice, but I wouldn't sweat it. Lenders won't make me sign 4506T. I'm trying to think of that, if that's in the package. I think it still is in the package, even though we don't have to pull transcripts. They shouldn't be pulling transcripts if it's a W-2 only loan. They really shouldn't. And that's a good question. Do me a favor, Jeff. Send me a email, matt@mattthemortgageguy.com. I'm going to check with my processor and ask him. We've got, on W-2 only files, are we still having the 4506T? Because here's what I think, Jeff, is I think that that's just like an auto form that's in every single package, whether it's, W-2 or not. And it might be that they're pulling tax transcripts for just the W-2. Good question. Stumped me. Got me. Junior, the answer is negativo. I'm not hiring cold callers. I am in the glorious position to where tons of my business comes from referrals. Tons of my business comes from my network, the realtor partners, financial advisors, CPAs, and I just don't have really a need to be calling people and asking them for business. I just sit back, add value, do a very good job with everybody who comes in the door, and they come back and they refer their friends, and their friends refer their friends, and their friends refer their friends and their friends and their friends. And my team does an amazing job because they care just like I do about doing a good job. And the rest is history. So sorry, Junior, no cold callers. Oh, see, look, Maria is a notary. And this is why I love having a bunch of people on here so they can help. And she's saying that they're in all packages. So the 4506T, Jeff, is in all packages. I think, but Jeff probably wants to know though, is if they're ever gonna pull. And here's the thing, Jeff, is that's going to be in all packages as like the lender's right to pull if they do an audit. But here's the good news is that if the lender up front is saying it's a W-2 only file, we're not pulling tax transcripts. If they do an audit 9 months after you close your loan and whatever they find on the tax returns, if like worst case, right, they pull this 4506T, for anyone who's wondering, is like authorization to pull tax transcripts from the IRS. So they pull it, Jeff, and when they pull it, they find that your wife has a business that's losing $60,000 a year, whatever it is, right? They can't undo your loan. I've had plenty of times where a lender has reached out to me and said, hey, in a post-close audit, we found this. What they're going to do sometimes is say, is there any way to like refinance your client, save them some money, and include this negative income in there so that we can sell it to Fannie and Freddie? But like once you're closed, you're done, man. You're good. You're good. Like lender can't come back and undo your loan. Thanks for that, Maria. I appreciate it. Cause I was thinking, I'm pretty sure it's in all packages. I'm disconnected a little bit nowadays from all the mechanics of a loan. Man, back when I was a youngster, I was in everything. Now I'm just out here promoting the brand, making sure the team's on track and doing a great job. And they do the mechanics and all the loan stuff way better than me. Trust me. I'm just here to answer questions, chat strategy, do what I can to help people out, and then just get them plugged into a very well-oiled system where the team handles the biz, the day-to-day ops. A real estate company said they could save me thousands by selling my house for a flat fee of $6,000. And someone else said 2%. Should I trust them? Oh, this is a good one. Man, if I had a real estate agent, if there's a real estate agent that wants to get on here and chat, it'd be good because I've been at like different real estate masterminds, right? And here's the thing. Here's my 2 cents. No. And if I was a real estate agent, this is what I would pitch to you. somebody who's a discount agent is probably going to do a discount job. And so they are going to give you discounted marketing dollars. They're going to give you discounted exposure, discounted effort, discounted whatever you want to call it, right? And like you're selling your house for $400,000. A full price agent says 6%. Buy side gets 3, list side gets 3. I don't know if this 2% probably was just their side, because it's like 2% on their side and 2.5% for the person bringing the buyer. Because really, here's what's going to happen. If less than 2.5% in most markets is being offered to the agent bringing the buyer, no agents are bringing the buyer. Like, you see how good it works out for sale by owners. Those things sell for like 10% less than they do with an agent. Granted, like, we're in a crazy market where people could like do a half decent job selling their own house. I've got my real estate license. I won't even sell my own house. I won't even mess with representing myself on the buy side to save a couple percent. I'm using a professional every single time. And so I think that, getting a high quality agent who's going to get you the very best dollar amount. Because let's say that you list it for $400 and the best agent gets you $440 and they charge 6%. 440 times 94. 413.6. And let's say that this 2% person is 2%. And then on the buy side, they're offering 2.5. So they're 4.5. They're a 1.5% discount. They do a pretty good job. They get you 425. 425 times 4.5%. 425 times 0.955. That's 4.5%. 405,875. So you netted about $8,000 less with a discount agent, and then negotiations on repairs, getting a free rent back, like all the things that need to be negotiated in a real estate contract. You've got the discount agent who he just dropped his pants to get the listing from you. And like, you think that that's a bulldog that's going to go to bat for you and fight to be like, no, they're not going to give you $3,000 in seller credit. These repairs cost $400 tops. We'll give you 400, not 3,000. Like, that's the kind of stuff where a very like high level real estate agent is worth their weight in gold, in my opinion. I think there's somebody in here that's disagreeing with me. Oh, here we go, Jason. This guy is bullish. Baking 6% into every single time an asset changes hands will be changed and real soon. All right. This is like the same soon as like moon for like Dogecoin. Blockchain will wipe out mortgage brokers and agents will be a group and not a single agent going forward anymore. Don't know if I agree with that. I do love the idea of the blockchain and being able to transact and doing it quicker, doing it peer-to-peer, doing it with less fees. All that stuff is cool. I just think that the idea of no agents is like not anything that's happening anytime soon. I mean, we've seen company after company after company come out and try to innovate real estate and how it's bought and how it's sold and all that stuff. Like Purple Bricks took a big purple poop on themselves and then went out of business. I'm seeing some companies do it fairly well. And here's something that's controversial that I'll just say out loud. Some of these companies probably do better than the bad agents, but never will they be able to replicate what a good agent does. A good quality agent, like I said before, worth their weight in gold. And there's just so many things on a real estate transaction that you just can't automate. You can't automate negotiations. You can't automate holding someone's hands holding someone's hand and walking them through the process. It's similar to a mortgage. Like, it's going to be hard to automate me talking to you and not just doing a refinance on today's property, but game planning for like how you're going to buy the duplex 2 years from now, what you're going to do, whether you 1031 the fourplex you're selling in that city, whether or not you're going to save up and put 25% down on this, or if you're going to cash out refinance this and put down this, like all that stuff. Like, you just can't automate that. I'm sorry. And so just like when free trades come out and there's all these things that can take the place of a high-level financial advisor, high-level financial advisors are still advising people, and they're still making money doing it because they are advising people on wealth building strategies, on stuff that's tax incentivized wealth building, and all these things that you can't just like, oh, I get free trades, I'm going to buy my own stocks and off I go. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I would be, should I trust them? I mean, somebody who discounts their services obviously doesn't think they do a very good job, or else they wouldn't discount their services. That's my 2 cents. Miss Diva, thanks for the question. This is a follow-up to what me and Jeff were talking about. W-2 only loan is me just saying, like, if you have W-2 income only and there's nothing that we need from the tax returns, no rental income, no self-employed income, no retirement income, no reason for us to see the tax return, we don't need it and we don't want it. And so that's the basics there. So if you're a teacher, pretty intuitive dude, Miss Diva teacher, and husband's a firefighter, you both get paid W-2s, good to go. All we want is W-2s, 19 and 20, current pay stubs, all the rest of the kit and caboodle. Let's not get tax returns. We do not need them. All right. Do you do any wholesale real estate? Answer is no. Sounds fun. I'm a busy dude, man. Doing a lot of mortgages. I don't have time for wholesale and real estate, but I know plenty of wholesalers that do it. There's good ones and bad ones like anything else. And they're probably having a harder time than usual finding really smoking deals. Yeah, it could be Redfin. I think that somebody's talking about the discount broker or 2%. I'm not sure Redfin's structure specifically. And I've actually had decent dealings with Redfin. So as much as some of the agents I work with probably wouldn't want me to say this, if it's a great agent, probably better than the Redfin agent. If it's a crappy agent, Redfin agents maybe a better option. I don't know. I shouldn't say that on video. The good agents aren't afraid because they know what a good job they're doing. All right, Kayla, thanks for joining. Thinking about a cash out refinance on investment property under forbearance. What qualifications do I need to refinance, and can I refi under forbearance? You cannot while you're currently under forbearance. What you need to do is get out of forbearance, and then you can refinance. Qualifications are the same as most any loan, where it's just a debt to income calculation. Primary residence, investment property, all other debts, those tally up, whatever that is, versus income plus rental income from the rental properties on the income side. And, probably it's got to be under 45%, depending on credit profile, loan to value, some other factors. But that would have to be done after you're out of forbearance. Most lenders don't need you to be out of forbearance for any specific amount of time. It's just, hey, I want to leave forbearance. I'm ready to start making payments on July 1st. All right, cool. I'm out of forbearance. Thanks. Bye. And then you get out of forbearance and you're off and running. Oh, my bad, Jason. I did not say no agent. I just said not a single agent. All right. Agents will be a group. We shall see. Robots are going to take over. Dogecoin to the moon. I don't think so. I mean, dude, I think you got a new build. You got a new build you're buying, right? And the construction manager quit. Is it a new build you're buying? Or is there a construction manager on like a remodel? Whatever the case, I mean, if it's a big builder, I wouldn't be that concerned. I mean, they've got people with deposits in. I hope they're not going bankrupt. All right. I'm going to knock on wood for you, Simon. The builder's not going bankrupt. You're good. All right, Basilio. Is it okay to start a cash out refinance on an investment property if I'm in the process of selling one of my houses? Oh, yeah. And here's the thing too, is people are always like, no big deposits in your bank. Don't do this. Don't do that. As long as you can explain it, you're good. I mean, the lender is going to be happy to see that. You get $200,000 deposit in your account because you got net proceeds from a home sale. You got less debt and you got more money in the bank. The lender's fine with that. So, yeah, you can definitely do that. And if you're doing a cash out on an investment property, they're going to want to see reserves. You can always show them like a 401k account or some sort of investment account as your reserve account. They probably won't see this bank account and don't need to. Even if they did, they wouldn't care. You just write a letter of explanation to tell them why. But yeah, that won't be a problem for sure. Yeah, this is the reason why I asked the question. I totally appreciate the heck out of it because some people just do things like, oh, I didn't realize like going out and getting a boat loan for $970 a month would affect my refinance. Why should it? So it's good that you asked, but in your case, that's not going to affect it. A big deposit that's explainable, right? If you deposited 90 grand in cash from the Sinaloa cartel, that might be bad. But just deposit from the sale of a home where you can easily show them like, yeah, look at the settlement statement. It shows me getting 152 grand from it. Boom. 152 went in the account. You'll be good. What's up, Matt? Good name, brother. Appreciate you joining. With a large transaction, say an engagement ring. Congrats, bro. Congrats if it's you. Here's the thing is if the large transaction is, you've got 46,000 in the bank and you spend 9,000 on a ring, and then you've got 37,000 left and you're putting 25,000 down, you're fine. If it's financed and you go to Jared and, put a new $200 a month payment on your credit because you financed it, that definitely affects your pre-approval. I wouldn't say mess up, but I would say affect. And I would, for sure, if you're pre-approved and looking and shopping, this is something you want to run by the lender. Some lenders just default to being like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'll give you guys a story. This is probably not good advice, but I had a buddy who was doing a refinance, super well qualified, great income, great credit, and he wanted to buy a boat. And he said, Matt, can I buy a boat? And I said, well, your debt to income ratio is 14. If you buy a boat, it's 17. You qualified, no problem. So buy the boat, man. He bought the boat. He's all good. But a lot of lenders be like, oh my gosh, don't do it. Here's where it becomes a problem. Your debt to income ratio is 41. You add a $700 payment because you want to go out and buy a Mercedes-Benz. Now it's 48. Now you don't qualify. That's troublesome. If you've got really good income and you qualify by a long shot and the boat that you've really been eyeing comes up, I shouldn't be recommending it, but I told him, buy the boat. He bought the boat. Zillow buys homes. You are correct. So does Open Door. So does lots of companies. buy homes, sell homes. They do it all. More tech companies are getting more involved. And really, in a lot of cases, they are filling a need of, excuse me, I got to get this fan rolling. Buyers are like somebody wants to buy forward and they want to sell their house really quick and get those proceeds and go buy forward. If you've got a company like Zillow who's willing to do instant offers, close on that thing within 7 days, and then you buy forward. Unfortunately, for some realtors, if they're honest with themselves, like, hey, that's the best option for this person's specific scenario. You know, you can talk to them about listing it, getting it in contract, then purchasing and submitting an offer where you're contingent, but it's already in contract, whatever. But you know, this kind of stuff is happening, no doubt. But do I think that this becomes 90% of the market? Not a chance. Jimmy Henry. Generally, W-2 employees, we just want 1 month, at least 30 days of pay stubs is the general guideline and the general rule. Kayla, right when you're out of forbearance, most lenders, and I say most because some I still hear want you to be out for 3 months. Most lenders, right when you're out of forbearance, you can refinance. There's no like waiting period, make 3 payments or anything like that, right? So should be able to do it relatively soon, like exit forbearance, ready to roll. Bianca, you didn't see my video? I made a video on this exact topic on Saturday about buying points. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. I looked at a specific scenario and I can tell you like it changes every single day. It changes lenders rate sheets that show here's the par rate. Here's what you can get if you pay a point. Here's what you can get if you pay 2 points. It changes all the time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do better than showing you my video because where's it at? Mortgage points. It should have more views than it's got. It's been out a couple days. Whoops. Here's what you want to, here's where you want to go. You want to go to my channel and you want to search, should I pay points on a mortgage? Bam. 2 days ago. This will really break it down, but just for the people and for you, Bianca, since this is like one of my favorite things to do, I'm going to pull up some pricing and I'm going to show you like a real rate sheet and why sometimes it makes sense to buy points. Sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the scenario. And it depends on, is it a primary? Is it investment property? How long do you plan on staying? All kinds of stuff. All right. Bianca is buying something for 400,000. She's putting 25% down and she's got good credit. Let's see what Bianca is going to have for, I got to get a better face on this. There we go. No, it's not good. That's not good. No, there we go. All right. Conventional elite 30-year fixed. Move that over. All right. Let's see if I can zoom in. Is it Control Plus? Bam. All right. So this is your scenario, Bianca, and I'll show you where it's like, does it make sense to buy points? Does it not make sense? 30-year fixed, $400,000 purchase, 25% down, so your loan amount's $300,000. 2.842, you pay 0 points, and your payment is $1,239. Oh, I guess my cursor wasn't, it was on my screen. So $1,239 a month. That's principal and interest. That's not tax and insurance. But for our example, that's going to work. You can pay a half a point, 0.507, $1,521 to have 2.75 rate. That equates to $1,224 a month. That's a $15 a month savings, which makes the math really easy, right? Because you're paying $1,500 to save $15 a month. Let's go up one more to see what the 2.625 looks like. 2.625 is 1.3 points. Holy guacamole. So that's $3,900 and $1,239, the par rate, 2.842 versus this 2.625 is the $35 a month difference, and you're paying $3,900. I can tell you, like just looking at it just like that, there's no way on God's green earth you're going to spend $1,500 upfront to save $15 a month or $3,900 upfront to save $35. Both of those, like this is a 100-month break even because it takes you 100 months of saving $15 to save the $1,500 you spent up front. And this is even worse, $35 of $3,900. That's probably closer to a, 110 month break even. So 8+ years, 9+ years to recoup the upfront cost. You just wouldn't do it. But that's how it works. This money gets paid up front, the $1,500, the $3,900, you get the lower rate, you get the lower payment. But in this case, it doesn't work. And here's the caveat. I said this in my video on Saturday, and I'll say it here for everybody watching. These rate sheets will change, and maybe it's only a half a point to go a quarter of a point for whatever reason, just because it changes from time to time. In that case, maybe it does make sense. Maybe it's a 4-year break even or 5-year break even. On an investment property, the rate sheet's going to be different too. On a second home or with a different loan to value, 15% down, 10% down, it's always going to change. And so you have to look at it for your specific scenario. But I'm looking at stuff like this and like, there's no way I'm telling somebody to buy that down. That just doesn't make sense. Do not spend $3,900 of today's dollars to save $35 a month, especially when smart money is betting on inflation. My 2 cents. All right. Yep. Buying a new build. Simon, I'm wishing you luck, dude. I think you'll be all right. All right. Congrats, man. Closed last week. FHA loan, self-employed, and beat out 20 other offers. This is like, there should be something where I could press and it blows out confetti or there's like some people clapping. I am super pumped for you because a lot of people would feel like I got no chance. I'm up against 20 offers. I'm FHA. What am I going to do? And they just give up. You did not give up. You kept at it and you got a house. I applaud you for that. Congratulations. Really cool to hear the winning stories, the success stories. Oh yeah, you're cash flowing that ring with savings. You're all good, man. If you're not financing it, then good. Go ahead and buy it. Make that lady a happy woman. All right. I recently paid $71.62 on closing costs for $82,000 cash out refi loan. Is $82,000 the cash out amount, or is that the total loan amount? And here's the thing. Here's something I want to highlight for everybody. $71.62 when your loan estimate says closing costs, realize that some of that is prepaid taxes and insurance. So you don't necessarily need to look at the whole, all that, because it's not really all costs. It's like loan costs are A, B, and C. I used to have, let me see. I'm going to try to find it. I used to have a loan estimate with all the all the stuff blacked out, right? So I could show you exactly what it, how it's broken down. Loan estimate. Come on. Oh, you know what? I think I called it LE. Come on, Mateo. I was trying to pull it up. It was going to be awesome. But basically, boxes A, B, and C, loan costs are there. And then you get down to the bottom of the loan estimate, and you've got like prepaid insurance, prepaid taxes, setting up the escrow account, all that stuff. And that shouldn't be included in costs. But I guess it seems like a lot, right? The total loan costs, especially on that small of a loan amount, you don't want them to really exceed a couple $1,000, or else it's cost versus benefit might be a little bit difficult. Thank you, Jeff, for the kind words. Yeah, I'm telling you, I make some great videos, and it takes a while for YouTube to understand how great they are and start pushing them, because the points one, like, it's such a common question. So I think that eventually that video will get some traction, and YouTube will start pushing it like they should. So if anybody knows anybody at YouTube, you let them know. That points video is something that people want to see. And so they better start pushing it. Congrats to Ephraim maybe. Broker recommendations in Florida. Here's what we do. We go to greatmortgagebroker.com, and that is connecting you with a broker who's in whatever state you're in. You fill out a quick little form, name, what you're looking to do, what state you're in, email, and somebody from a broker shop that's licensed in your state will reach out to you within 24 hours. I set that up because so many people were asking me for referrals, and rather than have you go to some national lender and get crappy service, crappy advice, connect you with a lender who I like and trust, who's a broker who's licensed in your state. And after getting bombarded with like, Matt, who can you refer here? Who can you refer here? Who can you refer here? I just set up an easy little template at greatmortgagebroker.com. You go there and you're able to fill out a quick, literally like 30 seconds, right? 6 questions, and you're on your way with somebody reaching out to you and helping you out. It probably gets a little bit more difficult, but it's definitely not impossible. Up to 10 loans, as long as you've got the income to support the payments and the credit and all that, then you should be fine. Look at this. Everybody's giving it up for Ephraim. All right. $20 offers. He beat him out. FHA. He didn't put his head in the sand and say, it's so hard out here. It's too tough. I can't get it done. I'm FHA. I'm never going to get it. He went out there, submitted an offer, closed on that bad boy. So Ephraim, good stuff. Everybody's happy for you, including myself. So I guess you had, when you say 82,000, oh yeah. So it must've been a free and clear property. You pulled cash out. I guess it depends on what of the 7,000 was true loan costs and what was prepaying taxes and insurance and other things. 3,000 or 4,000 in the loan costs is probably, not terrible. You just got to be careful. It's a small loan amount. So $4,000 is 5% of that 82,000. So you're paying a premium. If you pulled out 500,000, the loan costs are a lot of times fixed. So it's a lot smaller percentage. Cradler Made. Long time no see. I enjoy your stuff, man. Thanks for joining us. Here's some good news, Crayler made. I just read the second part of this question where, it's true. Once you get into underwriting, you have to provide a year-to-date P&L. And I think you'll be fine. I'm trying to phrase this correctly so I don't give you any false hope or I don't misguide you. But if your top line is consistent or increasing and you have some one-time expenses that you can explain, and it's like, hey, in 2020, I made 100. So far, year to date, I've only made 36. But here's where I made 36 halfway through the year because I spent an extra 15 on this, an extra 5 on that. So truth be told, I'm projected to do more than last year, but I've just reinvested in things. I think that you'll be fine. That's a tough one though. And another good question, man. The 4506T question from Jeff is a good one. And self-employed. I know on the non-QM stuff I'm doing, like they don't care about expenses, they just care about deposits. But for somebody who's self-employed providing a P&L, your net, your bottom line, your net income is going to be decreasing. So that's going to be something that, as you probably are thinking, could be an issue. I don't want to tell you for sure one way or another is my final answer, unfortunately. They don't necessarily have a bunch of additional fees. Look to where that 6,000 or 7,000 is coming from. It might be that jumbo loans are more apt to have points. Maybe that's a half a point cost. And like if you're borrowing $1 million, a half a point is $5,000. So that might be where it's coming from. All right, Crayler made. I think you shouldn't be worried, but I don't want to guarantee anything. I think you'll be fine. Shoot me an email so don't forget. Matt@mattthemortgageguy.com because I want to find out for you. And I'll give you honest feedback, even if it's like you're effed. Troy Richardson. Why does that name sound familiar? We do some business together, man? I think so. Or maybe it's another Troy Richardson. But anyway, thanks for joining. If my offer is accepted, can I lock in my rate? The seller needs to move out at the end of August for suitable housing. Yeah, I mean, my guess is that you're buying, and let's say that you have a 30-day contract that's closing in mid-July, but they have a 45-day rent back. To get them through the end of August to find suitable housing, you should be able to get into contract and go ahead and lock your 60-day lock or 45-day lock or 30-day lock, whenever you're closing on your side. And probably maybe this, like, let me start over. Seller accepts your offer and says it's contingent on us finding a replacement property. So you submit your loan, get your underwriting approval, order appraisal. Everything's going fine. July 7th, we found our replacement property. We're good. We can close. Or July 7th, we still haven't found it. Maybe you have to put a 45-day lock on, or you have to wait to lock or something like that. But you can certainly lock, and your lock is good for your close date. And when the seller finds their replacement property, they're going to be able to release that contingency of them finding it and let you close, because inevitably they're going to have to close their house to buy their house forward. And so they should, and you should be fine with this, because the sooner you close, the better. You don't want to let things linger. Let's say they find their replacement property by July 10th and they're like, okay, cool. We found ours. We're good. Go ahead and close it July 15th. Even if they need until August 15th, just give them the 30 days rent back. That's my 2 cents. If I missed something, let me know. Jennifer, property taxes. Oh, how they work if you're going to put an in-ground pool. If you do anything that requires pulling permits and you're in a state like I'm in California, they're going to do all they can to reassess you. And reassess means up the value that you're assessed at, up the property taxes that you pay. Generally speaking, here's my simple understanding of it. If they assess you at $400,000 and your state has 1.25% property taxes, you're going to pay $5,000 a year in property taxes. If you put in a pool and there's permits pulled and there's work done, and then they reassess you at $500,000, now you're paying 1.25% on $500,000, which is $6,250 a year. So your property taxes just went up $1,250 a year. Your mortgage is going to be another $100 a month to pay those property taxes, and that's just random numbers I'm pulling out of my head, but something to that effect, right? Your assessed value goes up, your taxes go up. All right, 4426 is high for that small of a loan amount. What the heck was in C? I can't show this screen because I don't want to show somebody's information. But for anybody who's wondering what he's talking about, I can't find a blank loan estimate. I've got one somewhere, but I'm not going to spend hours finding it. But box A is like lender charges. Loan origination, underwriting, processing, whatever's in box A. 2092 is double what a broker would be, but that's fine. 2,100 for like title fees. This is like the title box for an $82,000 loan. That just seems like a lot. This box is fine because this is appraisal credit report. So this box is high and this box is high. If you tell me that you worked with Quicken Loans, Basilio, it's going to be muy triste. Muy triste. But that's my guess. And if that's the truth, they got your ass. Do lenders check business credit cards? Nope. They sure don't. Thank you for the kind words. They are only checking what shows up in your personal credit. And now I've got a business card that's all business expenses. Doesn't show up on my personal credit. Does not affect debt to income ratios or show up when a lender is pulling their numbers. Jimmy, thanks for joining. Great question. The amount, which is considered a jumbo, changes from county to county. Where I'm at, Sacramento, California, above $598,000. Sacramento County, Placer County, a lot of the surrounding counties, $598,000. If you go to a high cost county like Marin or San Francisco or LA or Orange County, you might be able to go up to $822,375. And then above that is jumbo. And then anywhere in between, right? There's some areas where it's $548,000. Above that is jumbo. There's some areas where it's even lower. So you have to go, and really you could do this on Google. If you went to Google and said, what's a county I might not even know? What is conforming loan limit in Humboldt? Anybody doesn't know California, Humboldt is like the weed capital of California. Let's do this together. Conforming loan limit in Humboldt County. California conforming loan limits by county. Ba-bam. And see it on the one unit here on the side? Control plus plus plus. Let's zoom in. I just scroll through here. Some of the counties, 548, 250, Contra Costa, and like these super expensive counties will be up to 822 is conventional, and then above it is jumbo. So that's it. That'll tell you the conforming limit, how high you can go on a conventional loan. Haven't looked at this in a while, so it's good for me to just, like Rain Man, just scroll through here. I'll remember this for the next year. Santa Cruz, Santa Clara, San Mateo, expensive counties. And then it changes 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 units. So you could buy a 4 unit in Alameda County under 1.5 million and have it be a conventional loan. Only above that would it be a jumbo loan. Alameda be expensive. So finding a 4 unit under 1.5, probably not going to happen, but just, information to chew on. Related to Troy's question, this is a good one for sure. For sure. Ins and outs of rate locking. Yeah, because, as far as you're concerned with, like, it's taking a long time to get offers accepted, just for everybody's knowledge, 99.9% of the time, there's no rate locking being done prior to getting in contract. There are some ridiculous products where it's like lock and shop. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, if any lender is like, oh, we're going to lock it, and then you shop for a loan, they're going to lock you at 3.375. And it's just not a fantastic rate. It's kind of like the same thing as locking for 180 days. Like, you just don't do it because it's such bad pricing usually. But we could talk about, like, once you get into contract, whether you lock right away. And this is something that's super common with new builds, because people are like, my new build's not going to close for 3 months. Do I try to lock on a 90 day? Do I wait and then lock on a 60 day? Do I lock at 30 days? So I appreciate the feedback, Jeff. It's definitely a common question, something that people would want to hear. Nicole, thanks for joining. All right. So you've had this job for 6 years. And I guess my first question, Nicole, is if you return to work, is it part-time? Is it full-time? Is it hourly? Is it salary? Is it W-2? How are you getting paid? Because if you return to, like, let's say a state job and they're paying you salary, 42, 46 every single month, then 1,000% guarantee we can use it almost right away. If you're returning to a job that is like an hourly job, you're going to have to be there at least 6 months, because they're going to take an average. The only way to really gauge what you're making per month on anything that's variable, that's hourly or commission based or bonus or variable in any way, they're going to have to take a 2-year average. And if you've been out for a year, it's going to be really tough. So unfortunately, more than likely, you're going to have to be back to it at least 6 months, unless it's like full-time, full pay, salary, bam. Then in that case, you're good. Cool. I'm glad that helped, Jen. Do brick and mortar mortgage guys like you also use brick and mortar title servicers, or do you guys? I'm using brick and mortar title folks, and I've got great title folks here in California. It's different than it is in other states. In other states, they might use an attorney, but for us, the title company is basically making sure that if you're running a refinance through them, the property is free of liens. Everything's clear on title, and they're basically handling the paperwork with, one, the title insurance, which is assuring that you've got a property that's free and clear, ordering the payoffs and recording it with the county, things like that. It's relatively inexpensive. I wouldn't, go try to save $95 and use an online company, just because it's such a large transaction. Like, why would we try to cut corners and save a few bucks by using some, national online service to do that? So the answer is, yeah, I use brick and mortar title for all my stuff. And when it's a purchase transaction, I don't think anybody uses the big online services. They're all using the local title companies because it's even more important when you've got all the moving parts of a purchase to make sure that you've got professionals that are doing everything title. They're pulling the prelim, they're doing title searches, making sure things are free and clear, and all the other stuff that goes on. Collecting the earnest money deposit and all that. I'm not leaving that to any online company. No, gracias. 1.75% with 3,711 in points on a $400K home for 15-year mortgage, 5% down. I guess I would find out who the online mortgage broker is. Because when you say online mortgage broker, don't use the term broker if it's like an online better.com or something like that. Those aren't brokers. Those are call center employees. Those folks do not know what they're doing for the most part. And if it's a purchase, then you're playing with fire using some random online place, in my humble opinion. The broker fee is paid by the lender, meaning the wholesale lender that we broker the loan to. I send a loan to United Wholesale Mortgage. United Wholesale Mortgage pays me. You, the consumer, pay zero. I send it to Home Point Mortgage. Home Point Mortgage pays me. You pay zero. Like that. What's up, Miguel Ochoa? Hope you're doing well. I mean, this is a great question because ADUs are super popular, and there's tons of ADUs being built all over California. I've got clients that are building ADUs left and right. This is a tough one, Miguel, because this is something that, like, as a lender, we've got very little control over the third party folks that are involved in the transaction. And in this case, the appraiser. The appraiser is going to come out and they're either going to say, oh, it's a single family house with an ADU. Your single family is 1,200 square feet, ADU's 1,000. Some appraiser is going to come out and go, no, that's a second unit. It's the same size as the main residence. That's unit number 2. It's going to be considered a 2 unit. It's really hard to judge whether or not, like even the executives that I talk to at different lenders tell me, listen, whatever the appraiser says, however they call it, that's how we're rolling with it. And it's not the best way to do things. I agree, but so far that's how they're doing it. Maybe they're going to adapt, but my guess is, Miguel, they probably don't. They probably, because it's so popular, and it should be, because it's like, hey, listen, we have a housing shortage. We need more units. Let these people build. Stop having so much red tape so people can build more accessory dwelling units. The fact that it's an accessory dwelling unit, someone's going to actually live in it, makes it a second unit. So more often than not, as an investor, you probably just have to prepare for, okay, if I'm building an ADU and I'm using it as a second unit, I'm just going to treat it like I'm creating a duplex from a single family house. Yes, the rates are higher. Yes, you can't pull as much cash out on a refinance on a 2-unit investment property versus a 1, but that's just how they're viewing it, and probably how they're going to continue to view it in the future. That's my 2 centavos. A part-time hospitality job. Yeah. Yep. And being off for a year, the average is going to be not so bueno. Man, 2 hours. Time flies. I'm gonna speed answer a few questions. I'm gonna bounce off because it's been 2 hours. I've enjoyed this thoroughly, as I always do. Come back next week. Tell a friend. Bring them back. Share it with somebody who you think might benefit. Crayler Made, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for the $5 super chat. Look at that. By going for 2 hours, I earned myself a snow cone. And for that, I'm skipping to your question. Thoughts on new versus used? I've swayed towards new in the 300K range. Used in that range is old, 20, 30K over asking to win it. I mean, if you've got builders in Tennessee that are building things in a fairly timely fashion, in California, we're so far behind. People have to wait 9 months, 12 months, 15 months for their new build to get finished. I would say go for it, dude. Like, I mean, I think there's something cool about things that are new, right? You have a lot less maintenance in the next 10 years versus, the neighborhood I live in, everything's built in 1980. Not super old. There's older neighborhoods, but still we're going on 40 years old now. So the chance of things coming up and having to make small repairs, dry rot or replace a roof or whatever it is, are going to be, a lot more prevalent than something like you're buying new. The only thing you want to think about when buying new is some of these developers, they add in Melrose tax and different taxes that are paying for the schools or the shopping centers or the things that are there locally. And so who knows how it is in Tennessee. In California, it's like that, where you might have property taxes that are a lot more expensive than that older house. And it's because there's built-in taxes that kind of fund the development of things around the new build. So that's the only thing. And then contracts are up for grabs. I'd be interested to see too, like out in Tennessee, are you able to just say, hey, this model's $295 in contract, sign it, and off you go? Because some parts of California, some parts of Nevada, they're starting to bid on new builds. And that's kind of scary. But yeah, sounds like you're able to get in there, get your deposit down, reserve your spot, lock in your price, and then have it done November, December. Do it. I don't think so. If it's something that's fairly normal, they're probably going to ask you to justify that it's not going to negatively affect the business. I remember we used to have to explain if we pulled money out of a business to help with the down payment, you got to prove that this is not going to be detrimental to the business going forward. Same thing with your capital loan, right? This isn't going to be a hindrance and a big anchor on your business. It's going to force you to go out of business and then not be able to create the same income and pay back your mortgage. I wonder, same loan to value, or was it a different loan to value? Usually if it's a higher loan amount, they're not going to be more expensive. Sometimes it's lower because they like the higher loan amounts. Let's reconvene, Jimmy Henry. That does not seem normal. Nope. Kitty cake. Not going down in Cali. Slowing down from 12% appreciation to 8% appreciation, and then maybe 4 or 5 in 2023. But we're not going this way. We're still like this. It was quick takeoff, and then a little bit like this, and then maybe we'll just cruise at altitude. 2023, 2024. But we ain't heading down to the ground. That's for sure. All right. Yep, price is still going up in Massachusetts. All right, I'm out. 2+ hours. I appreciate everyone who joined. Hopefully this was helpful. Next Monday, every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Q&A, help the masses, learn some more about mortgage, talk real estate, talk housing market, talk mortgage. Matt the Mortgage Guy. Until next time, thank you. All right, Arnold, one more quick one. Closing costs shouldn't be that much different. Pricing, slightly higher interest rate, probably on a condo. But closing costs, there shouldn't be much differences. Maybe you got to pay some HOA, first couple months of HOA up front. Shouldn't be much else. Should be pretty similar. All right. Good night.